As the demonetization debate echoes within Parliament outside, joining me now is a very special guest, the former Finance Minister and Senior Congress Leader, P. Chidambaram. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Chidambaram. My first and direct question to you is the Congress today guilty of political opportunism? A week ago, when the Prime Minister announced demonetization, your party spokesperson, Randeep Surjewala, welcomed the move, saying that you would welcome any move against black money. Today, the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi is calling it a scam. In 1 week, you've done a remarkable U-turn.
Did we have full information on the day they announced the decision? Today, I reiterate, we are against anything which is opportunist and adventurist, but we fully support any decision of government that has three objectives: put down counterfeit currency, stop corruption, stamp out black money. If these objectives will be served, we will support the government. But if, as the decision unravels, and we see that there are serious questions about the decision and more questions about the manner of implementation of the decision, we'll certainly question that.
Now, am I to understand then that you support demonetization as a principle, as one of the measures available to take on black money, but your problem now is with execution?
No, I don't. I made it very clear. I support the objectives, but I don't support the method. I hope you read my statement of 9th of November, where I started by saying I support the objectives, but the method is wrong. Demonetization in an economy where the cash economy is extremely large is not the answer. The last demonetization of 1978 was a total failure.
The world has changed since 1978.
And
India is far more capable of handling the fallout of demonetization in 2016 compared to 1978. So you can't compare 1978 to 2016.
Exactly the opposite. Your conclusion is wrong. In 1978, the high denomination notes represented barely 2 or 3% of the currency in circulation. What has changed is 86% of the currency in circulation is high denomination notes. Therefore, the world has changed in a sense that it is more difficult to do demonetization.
Let me give you an example of where I believe that the strange speak, as I call it, of the Congress. Rahul Gandhi has said in a statement the government had alerted BJP people of demonetization beforehand. He also says, I don't think even the finance minister knew about demonetization announcement. On one hand, you say that the government had alerted BJP people about the announcement. On the other hand, you say even the finance minister didn't know about it. Surely, such a major announcement could not take place without Mr. Arun Jaitley being taken into confidence.
No, I don't believe that. Ordinarily, the finance minister should be in the loop.
You're saying Arun Jaitley was not taken in the loop?
I didn't say that. You're putting words. I said
You're
ordinarily.
saying that.
You didn't allow me to complete the sentence. Ordinarily, a finance minister should be in the loop. If a finance minister is in the loop, then the chief economic advisor should be in the loop, because he is the principal economic advisor. The senior officers dealing with banking, economic affairs, revenue should be in the loop. I'm pretty sure in my mind that the chief economic advisor was not consulted.
This is your supposition. This is your speculation.
We can only speculate. Do we have information from the files? You show us all the files, how the files moved, we'll tell you. We can only speculate. What else can we do? Therefore, when Mr. Rahul Gandhi was making a point that perhaps the finance minister was not in a loop, I'm sure he was being sarcastic. But I won't say that everybody in the finance ministry was in the loop. Can you imagine a decision of this kind where the senior officers of the finance ministry, particularly the chief economic advisor, is not in the loop?
So the flip side is, when you take a decision like this, you need utmost secrecy.
I don't agree.
Today the government is questioning the execution of the plan, when the fact is you needed utmost secrecy, which is why ATMs had to be reconfigured at the last moment.
No, I've heard you, but I don't agree. Because this is not demonetization. What is demonetization? Demonetization means the currency is killed once and for all. This is simply an exchange of old notes for new. And they hope that some part of the old notes will not come back to the banking system, and that can be destroyed. This is not demonetization, which is why no major economy in the world has demonetized its currency.
What are you going to term this then?
Will you allow me to complete?
Yes.
No major economy in the world has demonetized its currency in the last 40, 50 years, to my knowledge. In fact, to my knowledge, the only two countries which announced demonetization in the strict sense were Libya under Mr. Gaddafi and Zimbabwe under
Robert Mugabe.
Mr. Mugabe. Now, I think India joins Libya and Zimbabwe as an economy which announced demonetization. Well, I've explained in my article, this is not even demonetization in the strict sense.
So you started off with your objectives. Let's look at those objectives.
Yes.
Already in the space of a week, we are being told that 3 lakh crores have come into the banking system.
They will
and
come.
By December 30th, this amount could double. You could even have 8-9 lakh crores into the banking system. That liquidity could become a benefit to propel the economic engine forward.
Again, your fundamentals are totally wrong. If you impound 15 lakhs worth of currency and then tell people you can't exchange it in a shop, you can't exchange it in a petrol bunk, you can't exchange it in your mall, you can't give it to anyone, you'll have to come through the bank. Everybody has to go through the bank to exchange it. So today what would I do? I would take a 1,000 rupee note or a 500 rupee note, go to a drugstore, buy medicines for 200 rupees, he will give me the 300 rupees. He is intermediating there's no intermediation. He's changing the currency directly. But once you say nobody can receive it, I'll have to go to the bank to first change my 500 into 500 rupee notes and then go to the drugstore. All of the 17 lakhs has to only go through the bank. So don't count it as a windfall. Once you say without the bank's intermediation, this currency is useless, everybody has to go through the bank.
So you don't agree that because this is one of the advantages that the government believes of their demonetization move, is that it will bring liquidity into the system.
Again, you got it wrong. What the government believes, I'll tell you. They have not spelt it out. What the government believes is, and there is an element of economic truth in it if it turns out to be correct. If out of, say, 14 or 15 lakh crore high denomination notes, or if all of them were legal tender, all of them were legitimate, believe me, all of them will go through the bank. The government hopes that some part will not come back to the bank. The part that does not come back to the bank is obviously illegitimately earned income, and that can be liquidated. That's the government.
So you believe that's only a fraction. You believe that's only the fraction, and you're saying, therefore, for the kind of pain which is being caused, the gain is very limited. That's your broad point.
There's more economics to it, which I'll have to explain. You see, I don't know how much will come back to the banking system. But at least Dr. Raghuram Rajan, in a speech and answering questions, said, listen, most of it will come back, because there are many ways in which it can be brought back into the banking system. But to the extent that money does not come back to the bank, the RBI will extinguish that liability. But money is created by the RBI to meet the demand. Currency is printed to meet the demand for currency. People need currency to transact their business. Therefore, if the money in circulation is insufficient to sustain economic activity, RBI will print more currency. So ultimately, after all this exercise, you find, say, after 6 months or 8 months or 9 months, we have got the new 2,000 rupee note, the new 500 rupee note, and perhaps the new 1,000 rupee note, altogether adding up to 15 or 16 lakh crore. This exercise is an exercise in futility. You understand that?
And you'll possibly have a new black economy which will emerge.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you call it a black economy. It's really not a black economy. See, the real way to describe what they're doing is, what they're saying is, they're saying it without understanding how an economy works. They are not demonetizing currency. They are demonizing cash. They are demonizing cash. Take, for example, the US economy. The US economy is $21 trillion. 8.6% of that is cash economy. 8.6% of $21 trillion is close to about, I don't know, 17, 18 billion dollars. Chinese economy is second, $12.7 trillion. And, I'm sorry, Chinese economy is $14 trillion, 12.7% is cash. Japanese economy is about $4.5 trillion, 11% is cash. Indian economy is only $2.25 trillion and 22% is in cash. You cannot, the aim they are setting out that we will have a cashless economy is not only utopian, it is foolishly utopian.
Do you agree though, Mr. Chidambaram, that over the years, and the Congress has been in power for much of the last 70 years, there was a flourishing parallel economy in this country?
You call parallel means untaxed,
undeclared, untaxed, undeclared taxable income.
Correct.
Do you agree? Various figures have been there over the years, from 35% to 70% have been given. We'll stick to your 22%.
This is the World Bank's report.
You accept 22%, which is also a very high amount.
It is high, but that
in those 70 years, the Congress did very little to control it. Now along comes Narendra Modi, brings in shock treatment, and you object to it.
Don't reach conclusions. You should ask me what did we do.
I'm asking you, please tell me what you did to actually bring down the numbers.
I'll ask you what you did. Now the measures we took. The first one was in 1997, the VDIS. The VDIS unearthed 33,000 crore rupees of shadow economy, which in today's terms is worth about 88,000 crore, more than what they got under the income disclosure scheme. So number one, we started unearthing black money and making it, giving an opportunity for people to bring it.
When you were finance minister in the United Front government? Yes.
Well, okay. I was a congressman, I was only TMC at that time. Second, in the 2005 budget, I announced a scheme, and I say, to introduce special schemes to unearth black money and assets. I'm concerned about large cash transactions, especially withdrawals of cash when there's no ostensible purpose. I propose to levy a tax on the withdrawal of cash on a single day of over rupees 10,000. The Banking Cash Transaction Act was the first well thought out step to track the movement of black money. We created the FIU simultaneously, which will, all banks will report to the FIU all transactions. Who opposed it? The BJP opposed it. So that is the second measure. The third was the section in the Income Tax Act. I concede it was Mr. Yashwant Sinha who amended the act towards the end of 2003 or so. But then when I became finance minister, we notified that section, made the rules, and introduced what is called AIR, third-party reporting. Third-party reporting brought in a large number of transactions to the notice of the CBDT, and the CBDT started issuing notice. So don't say we did nothing. Without doing nothing, we could not have brought down the total black money. The black money, in fact, shadow economy's estimate in the year 2000 was 23.1%. And in 2007, World Bank estimates it as 20.7.
So these are the point that Mr. Modi is making is that this is the first major shock treatment to the economy. You are making incremental changes. He's taken a major decision.
You're wrong again. This is not a shock treatment to the economy.
I was with Surjit Bhalla, the economist, a little while ago, and he says this is as big, this can become as big as 1991.
That is his view.
Particularly if it is followed up by other reforms, including direct tax reforms. Do you agree with that?
I don't. That is his view. But everybody does not have to agree with Mr. Bhalla. For example, Mr. Bhalla predicted that Hillary Clinton will win by 10 percentage points. So I think that is a view, just as everybody does not have to agree with my view. I'm stating a view. There are other economists. Have you read Soumitra Chowdhury? So other economists have said, you see, what this has done is, under the guise of demonetization, they have put millions and millions of people into utter despair and misery by asking them to queue up to change their money. You know what is happening today? There are 2 lakh bank branches. Assume 400 people queuing outside each bank branch. I went to Connaught's place yesterday. 8 crore people are queuing up outside bank branches every day. 8 crore. ATMs. There are 2 lakh ATMs. They say 1,20,000 ATMs are functional. Let me accept that figure. 400 outside each ATM is another 5 crore people. 13 crore people are queuing up today to exchange their money. In Parliament House today, the serpentine queue started from the post office, came right down, went up the first floor on the steps. Every Parliament employee is standing outside the post office to change legitimate money.
So the Prime Minister is saying this is a temporary pain till December 30th. He's saying the system...
Do you understand the first order effect you have seen? The second order effect will come now. There will be a second order effect. You saw the Tirupur is closing down, Surat is closing down because nobody has got money to pay wages. Farmers cannot buy fertilizer, cannot buy seeds because there is no cash. You see, somebody planted in the Prime Minister's head, and I don't blame him if he accepted it without, this is where he should consult. Somebody planted the idea that India can become a cashless society. Somebody should have told him, sir, no country in the world is a cashless society except perhaps Iceland or somebody.
Sweden.
With 300,000 people or something. I've given you the cash economy of the 3 largest economies in the world, US, China and Japan, runs into billions of dollars. You cannot become a cashless society. You can become a cashless society over a period of time, but if overnight you want everybody to switch to credit card and debit card, let me ask you, I belong to a village. There's a village weekly fair. It goes Monday this village, Tuesday that village, Wednesday that village. Now on that weekly fair, you buy vegetables, you buy fruit, you buy pots and pans, you buy toys for your children. That is the weekly fair where the surrounding villages bring their wares to that village. Now where is the credit card, where is the debit card there? How do I pay the carpenter? How do I pay the plumber? How do I pay the electrician? How do I pay the dhobi? I mean, there's just no way.
So a short-term problem you're making into some kind of a long-term crisis. I'm asking you, what would you have done differently? Let's assume you were the finance minister, because there's some talk. Is it true that you also considered demonetization?
And we rejected it, and what did we do instead? Raghuram, Rajan and I, what did we do instead? In January 2014, we announced all pre-2005 notes will be phased out. New series will replace it. You please go and exchange your old series. After March 31, the old series will not be legal tender. That is the way. And then to the extent that old series does not come back to the bank, it is impounded and liquidated.
So that's what you would have done?
That is what we did, not would have done.
And in this situation also you would have done?
And who opposed it? Meenakshi Lekhi, spokesperson of BJP, went on air and called it an anti-poor move. If that was anti-poor, what is this?
Are you saying therefore if Raghuram Rajan was still RBI governor, he would have not accepted this?
Undoubtedly.
You're saying you're confident. This is not speculation.
No,
this is based on your own experience of January 2014.
I know his views. I mean, he has not spoken.
Yes.
And maybe he will not speak because he's far away now.
Yes.
But I know from my experience, he would not have agreed to demonetization because he has, after a lecture, there was a question and answer session, I think sometime in August 2015, where somebody put this question to him, can we not demonetize high denomination currency? He explained why the gains are so small and the pain and the disruption will be so high that it is not a wise move.
So what would you have done given the fact that the commitment to eradicate black money now is shared by all political parties? You also said it's one of your stated objectives. There's a commitment to get fake counterfeit notes out of the system, many of which are supposed to fund terror. Your objectives are similar.
Don't exaggerate. Let's take them one by one. NIA study estimates the counterfeit currency in circulation is 400 crore rupees in a currency circulation of 16.5 lakh crore rupees. Can you even imagine the number of zeros in 16.5 lakh crore? Out of that, 400 crore is counterfeit. See, if I can print a currency using modern technology, in 2 or 3 years, you can print fake currency using the same technology. After all, it's one human versus another human. So periodically, once in 4 or 5 years, we phase out old currency and allow the new currency to come in. Counterfeiting will take place. The most counterfeited currency in the world is the US dollar, be that as it may. Therefore, we would have done exactly what we did in January 2014, phased out old currency, introduced new currency. That will put, it won't end fake currency, it will at least slow down or lessen the volume of fake currency. That's what all countries in the world do. So fake currency will be dealt with that way. Periodically introducing new currency notes, phasing out the old ones. That is what. The way to fight black money is to look at the taxation system. I reduced the direct taxes in 1997 from a high to the 10, 20, 30, which has stood the test of time for the last 20 years. No finance minister has tinkered with that rate. That is the move.
Mr. Modi intends, perhaps according to the buzz, to do exactly that in the January budget.
If he can balance his books and yet reduce direct tax rates, I'll welcome it. But then if he increases indirect taxes and reduces direct taxes, that is completely regressive. Direct taxes are progressive taxes. If you want to reduce it, we'll welcome it, but not by increasing indirect taxes.